I did preseason award predictions, I did mid-season award predictions, and now here we are with only 1 day left of the NBA regular season doing my final NBA postseason award predictions. Hello everyone and welcome back to Step Back with Zach, and in today's video, I just said it, let's get right into it. Now, the rain has just decided to start literally as soon as I hit record. So if you hear it, I apologize. But we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start with the heavy hitter, the Big Dog Award, the NBA's Most Valuable Player Award. And as much as I wanted to give it to Victor Wembanyama, I have to give it to SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the OKC Thunder. SGA is having one of the most insane seasons we have ever seen in NBA history. He is averaging 31 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists on a wild 66.5% true shooting. He is second in the NBA in points per game and total points, only behind Luka Doncic. SGA is second all time in terms of true shooting percentage on players who score 30 plus points per game, only behind unanimous MVP Stephen Curry. He is the definition of efficiency. The dude is crazy. He is also in the top 5 in terms of effective field goal percentage amongst players who average 30 plus. He is shooting 60.2% on his 2-point shots, which is very center-like, prime Shaq type of numbers. Not only is he super efficient, he also does not turn the ball over. SGA averages the least amount of assists ever amongst players who average 30 plus points per game at 2.2. That is insane. No defense can hold SGA. But if we look at the top 3 defenses in the NBA outside of OKC and Shai's numbers against them, we get some pretty insane stuff. Against the number 4 defense in the NBA, Boston Celtics, Shai averages 34 points per game on 88% true shooting. That is crazy. Against the Detroit Pistons, and yes, it's only 1 game, but he scored 47 on their head on 78% true shooting. And against the Spurs, where he's had 4 games, he's averaging 30 points on 59% true shooting against the elite defense of Stephon Castle and the insane interior defense of Victor Wembanyama. SGA is shooting 60% or better true shooting against every NBA team except for 4, being the Chicago Bulls, where he's only played 1 game against them and he just played awfully. He shot 8 for 24 from the field, putting up the Kobe jersey numbers, the Orlando Magic, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets, who them 3 are also very, very solid defenses, and against the Spurs and the Rockets, he's shooting 59% true shooting. Crazy. SGA is also second in ISO points per game on 51% shooting on his isolation possessions. He's also second in terms of points per game as the pick and roll ball handler, and is first in points per game off of drives. He's second in points per game off of pull-ups. The dude can just do anything with the basketball. He can manipulate defenses at will. He's always going to get to his spot. There is nothing that SGA cannot do on the offensive side of a basketball court. He is 5th in offensive rating, 9th in defensive rating, and 2nd in net rating, only behind Victor Wembanyama. The OKC Thunder have a 123.6 offensive rating when he is on the court, which is one of the best offenses we have ever seen if we look at the offensive rating itself, compared to 113.7 without him on the court, for a plus 10 on-off swing. The Thunder are 56-12 when he is playing, and this season he has once again placed himself in the top 5 single season plus minus ever, with himself from last year and the seasons of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green in the 2016-2017 NBA season, where of course that team also had Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. If we look at his crafted NBA offensive stats, he is in the 99th percentile in offensive load, the 99th percentile in created open looks for his teammates at 14.5 per 100 possessions, which is only behind Nikola Jokic, and he is in the 100th percentile of offensive crafted plus minus, 95th percentile in true shooting percentage, 87th percentile in shot quality as a guard. That is crazy. This season from SGA is up there in terms of the Mount Rushmore of guard seasons. You can pick any version of Michael Jordan and put him up there on that Mount Rushmore. You can put the 2016 MVP, unanimous MVP Stephen Curry season up there. You can put the 1987 Magic Johnson season up there, I believe it was, and the 2026 SGA season. What Shai has been able to do on the court for the OKC Thunder this year has been nothing short of amazing, spectacular, insane. SGA will win the MVP this season, and it's quite frankly not even close. Other people I do want to shout out, like I said earlier, Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic. But his real only competition is Wemby, and I just don't think that Wemby holds a candle yet to what Shai does on the basketball court, especially on the offensive side. Next, we have the Defensive Player of the Year award, and this is probably the biggest no-brainer ever in the history of literally anything, and out of all the awards that I'm going to give out today, this one, every single one of you should be like, yep, this is definitely Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama should also be the first unanimous Defensive Player of the Year ever. And if anyone votes for anyone else that is not Victor Wembanyama, they need to have their voting rights removed, because what the hell is wrong with you? Victor Wembanyama is averaging a league-leading 3.1 blocks per game, and he is also first in total blocks per game at 197, which is 50 ahead of second place Jay Huff. If, let's say, Victor Wembanyama played all 82 games, averaging 3.1 blocks per game, he would have finished with around 254 blocks, which would tie his career high from his rookie season and would tie him 62nd all time in single season total block numbers. Crazy stuff. And since February 1st, he has upped this block total to 3.6 per game. Victor Wembanyama is also averaging 4.1 stocks per game, combined steals and blocks, which leads the NBA, and he is also first in the NBA in total stocks. He's averaging 9.5 defensive rebounds per game, which is second only to Nikola Jokic, and he is holding opponents to 9.6% below their average field goal percentage at the rim, which is 92nd percentile, I believe. And the craziest number that I think I have seen in a very long time is the fact that Victor Wembanyama holds opponents to 9% below their average field goal percentage from literally every location on the court, which is first in the NBA by like a long margin, and is the highest that we have seen in 5 years. I want to shout out Nerd Sesh for these numbers. The only two players who have ever been able to hold opponents to a lower field goal percentage from any location on the court is Giannis Antetokounmpo and Rudy Gobert. The San Antonio Spurs are also 10 points better on defense with Victor Wembanyama on the court versus when he is off. They have a 106.6 defensive rating, which is up there with the OKC Thunder, who we know are the most insane defense that we have seen since debatably the 60s Celtics. So with him on the court, they are one of the best defenses the NBA has ever known compared to when he is off. They are just a very, very average defense. And opponents also is shooting 4% below their average true shooting percentage when they are versing Victor Wembanyama. That's crazy. And when it comes to the eye test, this is not a legit stat category. Even though I think they should start tracking this specifically because of Victor Wembanyama, but he prevents the most shot attempts, literally ever. By that I mean, he deters opponents from shooting. Whenever they see Victor Wembanyama, more often than not, they are choosing not to shoot the ball. They are either kicking it out, throwing a bad pass, or just doing a Nash dribble around the rim where they just run away afterwards because they know that their shit is going to get absolutely sent if they try and contest the 7'4" beast with the 8-foot wingspan, Victor Wembanyama. Like I said, should be the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year, and quite frankly, it's not even close. Sure, shout out Chet Holmgren. There is no way you are winning the Defensive Player of the Year award over Victor Wembanyama. And today against the Dallas Mavericks, he officially became eligible for postseason awards, and Sean Elliott said it in the broadcast. Well, it's official. Victor Wembanyama is the official Defensive Player of the Year. I just thought that was just aura. make that into an edit when he actually wins. Next, I have the Rookie of the Year. Now, this one has been something that has been debated all season. I personally have been going back and forth on it all year, and if you guys have been watching, you know that I have had Con Knipple for the majority of the year. However, I have changed my mind, and I have gone with the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, Cooper Flagg is averaging 21 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. He is first in points per game among rookies, 4th in rebounds per game amongst rookies, 2nd in assists among rookies, 3rd in steals among rookies, and 5th in blocks among rookies. Literally top 5 for every single major stat category amongst rookies. But what has really sealed the deal for me with Cooper Flagg is the fact that in his last 10 games, he is averaging 28 points per game, along with his 7 rebounds and 5 assists on an improved 56.4% true shooting. This includes a 51-point explosion versus the Orlando Magic, where he became the youngest player in NBA history to score 50 points, and he then followed that up with a 45-point explosion against the LA Lakers, becoming the first rookie since Allen Iverson back in 1997 to have back-to-back 40-plus point games. He has the most 20-plus point games as a teenager. He's the youngest player to even have a 40-plus point game. He did this at 18 years old, and he's the first teenager since Michael Jordan to record 4 straight games, scoring 30-plus points and tallying 5-plus rebounds in the same game. And he's done even more than this. The amount of records that Cooper Flagg has set is astonishing. It's unprecedented. No rookie has been able to do any numbers like this. And ultimately as well, Con Knipple has been struggling recently. Like, his last 10 games have looked bad for Con Knipple's standards. If we pull them up real quick, Con is averaging 15 points on 40% from the field. Still shooting 38% from 3, which is really, really good, but Con Knipple all season has been the poster boy for efficiency. We know that he's got the 2nd highest true shooting percentage among rookies ever, and he's leading the league in total 3-point makes. He already completely smoked the all-time rookie record for total made threes in a single season. He's absolutely run these numbers out of the water, off the chart. Con Knipple has been incredible, and if you still have Con Knipple winning your Rookie of the Year, that's completely fine. I completely understand, and I will not argue with you. However, I just think Cooper Flagg, especially recently, has just really, really made his case for this award. Cooper Flagg does a lot more on the court than Con Knipple does, although that's not a word. However, Con Knipple has been more impactful to his team. The Charlotte Hornets are obviously better than the Dallas Mavericks. Con Knipple has been incredible for the Charlotte Hornets, and although Cooper Flagg has been absolutely insane with his counting stats, it hasn't really been as impactful as, you know, it probably should. So I'm probably about 60% Cooper Flagg, winning 40% Con Knipple, but at the end of the day, that still has me deciding that Cooper Flagg will win the Rookie of the Year. This has been one of the best Rookie of the Year races that we have seen in a very long time. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Con Knipple absolutely deserving of this award as well. Maybe they should do the co-Rookie of the Year honors like they did with Grant Hill and Jason Kidd. That would be cool. Give it to the 2 white boys from Duke. Next up, we have the 6th Man of the Year award. Now, this award is one where there are a lot of deserving candidates. You have Jaime Jaquez, you have AJ Mitchell, you have Tim Hardaway Jr., you even have Dylan Harper. However, I have ultimately gone with Keldon freaking Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Keldon Johnson is averaging 13 points, 5 boards, and 1 assist off the bench per game. He is 2nd in total points off of the bench, 4th in field goal percentage, and 2nd in total rebounds. He is 4th in bench plus minus, only behind Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and AJ Mitchell, all of the OKC Thunder. Really not surprising that you have 3 Thunder players for 2nd and 3rd for plus minus in the season. Now, the biggest person I have threatening Keldon Johnson for this award is Jaime Jaquez. Jaime Jaquez has been incredible all year, especially to start the season. My mid-season award prediction, I had Jaime Jaquez winning this award. However, I just think the second half of the season, he has slowed down quite a bit. His efficiency has also dropped off. He's not a great shooter. He's turning the ball over a lot more, I feel. And I just think that Keldon Johnson has been more impactful to a winning team. The Miami Heat are very average. The San Antonio Spurs are the 2nd best team in the NBA. Keldon Johnson's also a better shooter. He's a better inside finisher. He's a better rebounder, and he turns the ball over less. Like, quite a bit less. He's a better defender as well. He's the best defender out of Jaime, Tim Hardaway Jr., and AJ Mitchell, although AJ Mitchell can hold his own on that side of the ball 100%. And I'm not saying Keldon Johnson's an incredible defender, because he definitely has his flaws, but I just think with the way that the San Antonio Spurs have been playing, Keldon Johnson is a very, very deserving candidate for this award. Like I said, Jaime Jaquez is also a very deserving candidate. Tim Hardaway Jr. is also a very, very deserving candidate. He's been incredible for the Denver Nuggets this year. One of the best three-point shooters in the league. A big reason, though, that I didn't have AJ Mitchell winning this award is he just hasn't played enough. He's played less than 60 games on the season. Keldon Johnson's played 81 and has been very, very solid on the entire year. He's had 13 games scoring 20 or more points. If AJ Mitchell did the same stuff that he has been on 65 games, let's say, he would be my favorite to win this award. Now, the stupid thing is, for the Sixth Man of the Year award, the 65 game rule does not apply. Why? I've got no goddamn idea. Adam Silver continues to just screw with my brain, but whatever. Like, if AJ Mitchell wins, I'm not going to be surprised, but I just don't think he will, simply because of the fact he's only played like 56 or 57 games. Now, next up, I have the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Now, for the majority of the season, especially the first half of the season, this was an award that really could have gone to so many different players. Ryan Rollins has been incredible all year, and he had a massive jump from last season to this year. Jalen Duren is also someone that has had an absolutely nuts improvement. He's been really, really good. Denny Avdia was also looking like a runaway candidate. He's been incredible. Jalen Johnson has also improved quite a lot. He's played a lot more than he did last year. However, I think for all season, the player that has just been so damn good, especially in the second half of the year, is the player that I think so many people are going to have winning this award, and is the player that I do think is going to win this award, Nickeil Alexander-Walker of the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Nickeil Alexander-Walker has had an absolutely incredible jump, and I think that what he has done is also one of the hardest ways to improve in the NBA. A lot of the time, you're going to have players who go from the G League to getting like no rotational minutes to being really, really solid players, or players who are like kind of good, who are really important for their teams, becoming absolute superstars. But Nickeil went from being a good 3-and-D bench role player for the Minnesota Timberwolves to being the second most important player on a playoff team, and is a borderline all-star. He's always going to be really, really solid, and you can just rely on him very, very often. More often than not, anyway. He's a good defensive player, and although his defense has dropped off because of his increased offensive load, he can still defend, and he's putting up, like I said, 20 points per game. Since the Atlanta Hawks' incredible run that they've been on recently, he's been the Hawks' best player. And if you don't agree with that, why? He's been insane. Nickeil Alexander-Walker as well has taken the second biggest leap in terms of scoring, from a player who has never averaged 20 points to a player who is now averaging 20 points since the year 2000. Only behind CJ McCollum, who, by the way, went from 6.8 points to 20.8. That's insane. A 14-point jump. What the fuck? Nickeil upped his scoring by 11.4. Going from 9.5 to 20.9. What? Nickeil is averaging 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on the year on 61% true shooting, which is 3% better than last year. He's also shooting 40% on 8 3-point attempts per game. Every single stat except defensive rebounding, Nickeil has upped. Like I said, he's up 11.4 points per game than last year. He's upped his rebounds by almost 1. He's averaging 1 more assist, almost 1 more steal on 8 more minutes per game. Literally career highs in every single stat except defensive rebounds. He's averaging a career high field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage, effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, and offensive rating. And just like his cousin Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he is very efficient. He's also doing all this on career high volume. So he's still providing very, very solid numbers on increased volume. He's an incredible rim finisher. He's ambidextrous. He can easily finish with both hands. He's a great pick and roll ball handler and playmaker. And I just love Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's so good. And I can guarantee you, no person on earth expected Nickeil to do what he has done on the Atlanta Hawks this season. I loved the signing for the Hawks because I love Nickeil. He's one of my favorite role players in the NBA. And as soon as the Hawks signed him, I said, shit, damn it. Because the Spurs have the Hawks' pick, and I knew that picking up Nickeil would make the Hawks even better. Did I think that he would make the Hawks this much better? Fuck no. And if anybody says that they did, they are lying to you. They are liars. They are frauds, and they just want to hop on the bandwagon. Shout out to Nickeil Alexander-Walker, an incredible player and the most obvious, most improved player of the year this year. The penultimate award I have now is the Coach of the Year, and if you want to call this bias, go ahead. I do not give a shit. It is Mitch Johnson of the San Antonio Spurs. And this might be very controversial because there is also one coach who could very easily win this award as well. I think this is a race between one of two coaches. I want to shout out Jordan Knott. He's been really, really good, helping the Phoenix Suns absolutely explode and blow their projected win. What is it? Over-under win rate of the, win projection out of the water. And I also want to shout out Charles Lee of the Charlotte Hornets. He's been really, really damn good. The Hornets have been one of the best teams since the turn of the calendar year, and it's very large in part to Charles Lee and JB Bickerstaff of the Detroit Pistons, who is apparently the odds-on favorite to win this award, which is nuts because I don't think he should. The Pistons have been really, really good. They are the number one seed out east, and they've finished as the number one seed out east, but I just think that there are two coaches who have been the runaway favorites for this award, in my opinion, and that is Mitch Johnson and Joe Mazzulla. But like I said, I have gone with Mitch Johnson. The reason I've gone with Mitch Johnson is the Spurs preseason over-under win projection was 44.5. They are at 62 wins right now with one game to go. So if they win that game, they've beaten it by 19 or 18. Which is a crazy turnaround. In the West, if they were around that 44.5 win, let's say they got 44 wins, or even 45, whatever, it doesn't matter, they would be in the 7th seed right now and around the same record as the Phoenix Suns. But they are one of only two teams in the NBA to have 60 wins. And they have 62. This is the first 60-win season that the San Antonio Spurs have had since the 2016-2017 season. And since January 1st, he has led the San Antonio Spurs to being the best team in the NBA. Like, literally the best. They have the best record since January 1st. The Spurs have also this insane two-way ability. And yes, it is large in part because of Victor Wembanyama. But without Wemby this year, the Spurs have gone 12-5, and that is no coincidence. Mitch Johnson has been insane for this team. He holds all of his players accountable. He's really gotten the most out of players like Luke Cornett, Julian Champagnie. He's made Keldon Johnson into a legit 6th Man of the Year candidate. He's really helped Dylan Harper settle down and become one of the best ball handling guards in the league. He's really made Victor Wembanyama way more polished on the offensive side of the ball. Devin Vassell's looking way better. He's just done such an incredible job. And he has ultimately led the Spurs to currently winning 28 more games than they did last season. Mitch Johnson is a very, very deserving candidate for this award, and the fact that he doesn't get more love for it is crazy to me. And again, this isn't even because I'm a biased Spurs fan. Even if I wasn't a Spurs fan, I would still be acknowledging Mitch Johnson. Like, I'm not a Celtics fan, but I acknowledge Joe Mazzulla is a very, very deserving candidate for this award as well. Joe Mazzulla, just like Mitch Johnson, has really been able to get a lot out of his players, like Neemias Queta, like Jordan Walsh, like Baylor Shireman. These guys were unknowns to start the season. No one knew what they were going to do. No one knew what their center rotation was going to be. But Joe Mazzulla has really, really pushed Neemias Queta into looking like a really, really quality starting center. But the main reason that I have Mitch Johnson winning over Joe Mazzulla is because I just think Mitch Johnson has been able to get more out of the Spurs than Joe Mazzulla has. And if you want to call that controversial, sure, go ahead. I don't care. The Boston Celtics have not had Jason Tatum all year. I get that. But the Boston Celtics win projection was 40.5 coming into the season, which was only 4 less than the San Antonio Spurs. And the Boston Celtics are now at 55. So it's 15 more wins than they were originally expected, which is less than what the San Antonio Spurs have been able to do. And before you say,
well, the supporting cast for the Boston Celtics hasn't been that great, especially because Jason Tatum's also been out.
Yes, like I said, I already acknowledged that. But the Celtics have still had Derek White all year, who is still an incredible player and who's one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. Peyton Pritchard, who's one of the best isolation scorers and just bench producers also in the entire NBA. They also still had Anthony Simons, who's an incredible scorer himself until the trade deadline where they traded him for Nikola Vucevic. They've still had a very, very solid three-point shooter in Sam Hauser, who's no slouch on the defensive side of the ball. And they've had Jaylen Brown, who's taken an absolutely insane leap as well. Like, Jaylen Brown for a lot of the year was in the MVP conversations. Like, what people are overlooking is the fact that Mitch Johnson and the San Antonio Spurs were not looked at to be an incredible team. Like I said, they were looked at to be a 44-win team, like a very, very average fringe playoff team, just like the Celtics. And Mitch Johnson has been able to do more with what he's had. Victor Wembanyama's been out for 17 games this year. Stephon Castle's missed time. Like, De'Aaron Fox, even to start the year, missed a lot of time. Like, there's still been a lack of continuity, especially in the start of the season for the San Antonio Spurs. And yes, obviously that's nothing compared to the, 61 games or something that Jason Tatum's missed. But please, for the love of God, don't overlook Mitch Johnson, because Joe Mazzulla and Mitch Johnson have done very, very, very similar things. I've seen so many people put Derek White in the All-NBA third team in their predictions. You want to know who else other than Victor Wembanyama has been noted as an All-NBA caliber player? No one. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. Peyton Pritchard, like I said, has been so damn good as well. Like, the supporting cast around Jaylen Brown is still really, really good. And yes, like, there are more unknown players on the Celtics side who have really come out and just been super good, like Neemias Queta, like Jordan Walsh, like Baylor Shireman. But, like, for the Spurs, Lou Cornett has really, really, really been good. Julian Champagnie has absolutely emerged as an incredible player. And the fact that Mitch Johnson has been able to run 2 point guards at all times very, very well and efficiently on the court is something that cannot be sneezed at either. The all-around talent of the San Antonio Spurs is better, I will admit that, but I think that the top-end talent of the Boston Celtics all year with Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard has been better than Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and Stephon Castle, and that is only just very, very, very slightly. And yes, Joe Mazzulla has led the Boston Celtics to being top 5 in both offensive and defensive rating. Yeah. So is Mitch Johnson. Mitch Johnson's leading the Spurs to the second best net rating. Like I said, if you want to have Joe Mazzulla winning this award, absolutely. But the amount of people who just overlook Mitch Johnson in this award baffles me, and I don't understand it. Please, for the love of God, look at Mitch Johnson as someone who has just been able to do so much. Because the Spurs have been so damn good. They've been competing with the Thunder for the number 1 seed, for the best record in the entire league. And the Thunder have always been looked at as just an absolute powerhouse and a juggernaut. But if you want to have Joe Mazzulla winning, that's cool. I don't care. But those two are really the only frontrunners in my opinion. If you have anybody else, or if you're completely overlooking Mitch Johnson, please reevaluate what you're doing, because Mitch Johnson is just as deserving of this award as Joe Mazzulla is. Anyway, finally, the award that nobody gives a crap about, it's the Clutch Player of the Year award, and I have SGA winning this, with a runner-up being Anthony Edwards, I guess. Shai is first in the NBA in clutch points per game and total clutch points with 175, which is the most clutch points in a single season on record in 27 games. And in those 27 games, the Thunder are 20-7. Shai's been really, really good. Also, keep in mind, 175 points over 27 games, only 7 turnovers. What? But yeah, SGA, Clutch Player of the Year. If you guys are interested in my all NBA award predictions, like the all NBA teams, the all defensive teams, or the all rookie teams, I have already uploaded a video for each of those three going over my predictions. You can go and check those out if you are interested in my thoughts on that. But that will be all from me for my end of season award predictions. Let me know if you guys agree with any of these. Let me know who you think should have been put instead of someone else. But as always, thank you guys very much for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.